Sports. It's who we are. It's what we do. It's how we roll. It's wins and losses, highs and lows. It's effort, respect, and dedication. The High School Sports Beat. Sports. It's who we are.
Hello everyone, welcome and thanks for joining us on the High School Sports Beat. I'm Dave Yates. We continue our look back at 10 years of covering Section 5 sports with this story from February of 2014. Here's Bill Pucko.
Which brings us to Spencerport, where Craig Charron's legacy is alive and well in our ESL Scholastic Sports Spotlight, the Charon Boys. They are local hockey royalty. The Charon brothers of the Spencerport High School Rangers.
Nick's a special player. He's really blossoming here this year. Jackson is one of our best leaders we have. Put the C on him this year. The last few weeks he's really responded, stepped things up, and really led where we are.
Their dad was someone special. Craig Charron spent 5 seasons with the Rochester Americans. Scored 43 goals for the eventual Calder Cup champions in 1996. He was the MVP of the playoffs. In all, Charron scored 122 goals as an Amherst, accumulated 312 points in his 335 games in the red, white, and blue. Twice voted the team MVP, Charron was also awarded trophies for sportsmanship, community service, and popularity while in Rochester. In 2008, Charron was elected to the Rochester Americans Hall of Fame.
You know, he was one of those players I think was always told that, you know, he was too small or couldn't play. And he was a gifted, probably the best stick handler I've ever played with. Great hockey sense, and he competed.
Charron lost a battle to stomach cancer in 2010. We lost an icon. The boys lost their father. The oldest son, you had to kind of carry the ball here. I mean, when Craig left us, didn't you?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you got to step up, you got to take charge, and it's a tough role, but it has to be filled.
Nick, just a sophomore and only 12 when Craig died, thinks about him often.
You know, it's random times it happens, and I think it's like a memory happens, and I think of him, and yeah.
You were his number, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
How come you got it and Jackson didn't?
Well, I mean, I guess I got it. I mean, I just wanted it, yeah. And I wanted it more than he did.
How much do you love it when someone comes up and says, hey, I knew your dad, he was a great guy?
Yeah, it's a great feeling, you know, you hear it all the time, and it just really makes you remember how great of a guy he was.
The Charon boys have helped revitalize the Spencerport program, which Craig once coached and is now run by a Ranger alum, Jason Rich, class of '93. Nick and Jackson have combined to score 18 goals with 26 assists. Spencerport is 10-5.
They don't want to be treated any differently. They want to be the kids that they are, and you know, they're trying to find their way in the world just like any other normal teenage kid.
Still, they are Craig's kids, and their father's legacy won't fully allow that.
I remember inviting him over to my house for it was a trial to see if he could be one of my instructors for hockey school, and how he interacted with my kids. I brought him in, and he was definitely my best instructor that I brought on board, because he just loved the kids. I think he was a kid at heart.
When do you miss him the most?
I miss him the most. Probably, you know, like right after I score a goal or something. I know he's up there. I know he's looking at me. You know, he's proud of what we're becoming.
And a salute to Wendy Charron, who in Craig's absence is doing a great job raising 4 kids.
Jackson graduated from RIT in 2019, while Nick played hockey at Skidmore College last season after playing prep hockey at Trinity Pawling. Coming up next, Matt Trabold joins us for the High School Notebook. We've got that and more when the High School Sports Beat continues. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the High School Sports Beat. I'm Dave Yates. It's time now for the High School Notebook, and that means it is time for Matt Trabold to join us. Matt, thanks once again for hopping on board.
Thanks for having me on.
Hey, let's talk about some Section 5 products making some noise possibly on the ice professionally.
With the NHL and American Hockey League season slated to start on January 13th and February 5th, respectively, NHL training camps are in the thick of it right now. Recent Penn State star and Fairport native Nate Sucese found his name on the Arizona Coyotes' 44-man training camp roster, one of 24 forwards on it, alongside names like Phil Kessel and Johan Larsson. After leading the Big Ten champion Nittany Lions last season in both points and assists, Sucese signed a one-year entry-level deal. I think we talked about on the show last season. He signed that deal with the Coyotes back on March 20th. He is also the all-time leader in career points and goals for the Penn State program. Additionally, in Rochester-related 2021 NHL news, especially when it comes to former Section 5 puck players, it was not a surprise to see former McQuaid State champion Jack Dugan listed on the recently released Vegas Golden Knights training camp roster after he signed a 2-year contract with the team in mid-July. Before that, the Knights picked him in the 5th round of the 2017 NHL draft. The now former Providence Friar led the whole NCAA in scoring a season ago with 52 big points. I'm sure Rochester hockey fans would love seeing both make the top club this year. Good luck to both of those guys.
All right, yeah, fantastic. All right, moving out from hockey to the hardwoods, let's talk a little bit. Let's talk some basketball. Let's talk some women's basketball especially.
Former Penfield girls basketball star Michaela Wilson is now a junior for the D1 Women's Hoops program at Lafayette. She started every game she played in 2 years ago as a freshman, including a pair of double-doubles for the 6-foot wing player there. Last year, she was only able to play in 7 games, unfortunately, due to injury, but she is back in a major way this time around, including in that starting 5 for the Leopards. Those Leopards, they had their first 2 games of the season last weekend. For this very unorthodox COVID-19 season, everybody's playing it, but especially the Patriot League. They're doing things a little bit differently in that conference, dividing the conference into 3 regional mini-conferences. Those 2 opening games were against rival Lehigh. In the season opener, Wilson had a solid showing of an efficient 8 points, 3 of 5 shooting there, 7 rebounds, and a block. Her success is just another example of the outstanding history of Mark Vogt's program at Penfield. Those Patriots, especially players going to Division I ranks. Emma Guy is playing professionally right now overseas for Sporting Athens after being first-team All-ACC for Boston College last season. Bailey Teal is a freshman at Fordham, a more recent player in that program coming out of it. Allie Fitzgerald was a Seton Hall commit a couple years ago. Just before that was eventual MAAC Rookie of the Year for Sienna Margot Hetzke. I remember hearing stories from coworkers and plenty of people around about Hetzke and Penfield holding Brianna Stewart, I believe in 2012, to just 13 points in the state final, eventually lost. But she played well in that game against obviously a huge name in the game in Brianna Stewart. I will end this topic by saying Michaela Wilson, one to watch for this season in the Patriot League.
All right, let's go from the women's game to the men's game. Let's talk about a little more hoops.
In the NBA bubble portion of last season, a case can be made that former Bishop Kearney student-athlete Thomas Bryant was one of the top 10, top 15 best performers in that bubble with the numbers he put up for the Washington Wizards so far this season in year 3 with those Wizards. Thomas has been riding well off that bubble momentum for a head-turning start to the season that has NBA media and NBA fans across the country wondering how high success this year might just be. A 3-game stretch for him among the action for that team in the past week and a half have many especially talking. In those ball games, one each versus Chicago, Minnesota, and the Brooklyn Nets, a big team, especially with that last one there, that last opponent. Thomas exploded for a combined 67 points, only missed 4 of his 30 shots in that stretch, including 5 for 6 shooting from 3. And hey, this is a big man we're talking about here, a man in the middle, a center. He also had 24 rebounds. Fred Katz from The Athletic had a great stat. The only other 3 NBA guys to shoot 87% on 30 or more shots in a 3-game stretch over the past 30 years of the NBA. Dwight Howard, DeAndre Jordan, Clint Capella. Good company there for Thomas. NBA analytics also have Thomas second in the NBA so far this season in offensive efficiency among players that log enough minutes to qualify. He is only behind Michael Porter Jr. from the Nuggets. Thomas is having a big one. Let's hope he can get to that level, and he's rising there right now. He's well on his way to maybe be an all-star this year.
That would be fantastic stuff. And as far as efficiency, Matt, you're number 1 on my list as always, bud.
Thank you very much.
All right, have a good one, bud. We'll see you next week, all right?
Thanks for having me on.
All right, we're back with more of the High School Sports Beat right after this. Coming up next, the Making the Grade nominee with Kyle O'Gara, and later the BK girls play Gates Chili in a battle of defending champs. We'll have that story when the High School Sports Beat returns.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the High School Sports Beat. I'm Kyle O'Gara. Making the grade this week is Bloomfield senior Ryan Walschliger. Ryan has been on the Bloomfield bowling, track, and soccer teams since the 7th grade. Since then, Ryan has won multiple league and sectional championships in bowling and currently holds the league high game of $2.99. In track, Ryan was the 2019 MVP, and in soccer, he was named the 2021 Offensive Player of the Year and the FL West Top Goal Scorer of 2020. In the classroom, Ryan is in the National Honor Society and is in the top 10 in his class with a 97% average. Ryan has also been the recipient of multiple Student Athlete Awards and the RIT Computing Medal. Ryan is committed to the University of Buffalo's Honor College and plans to study pharmaceutical sciences. This week, Ryan Walschliger is making the grade. If you have a student in mind for our Making the Grade segment, we want your nominations. Send them into mtg@rocksportsnow.com. Now here's Dave with the Section 5 Spotlight.
Thanks, Kyle. Now here are some of the athletes, teams, and coaches making news in our Section 5 Spotlight. Aquinas alum Jalen Pickett started his junior season at Siena the way he finished last year by scoring 20 points with 6 assists and 6 rebounds in a 78-77 win over Monmouth. Binghamton Wrestling's Louis Dupre, a Hilton grad, enters the college season ranked 4th in the nation at 184 pounds in preseason polls by Flow Wrestling and the Open Mat. Lou finished last season as an All-American with a 26-5 record. And Churchville Chili grad Ty Raines made his UB Bulls wrestling debut, gaining an 8-6 overtime victory, helping the Bulls defeat Ohio University 20-12. Up next, Bishop Kearney versus Gates Chili in girls basketball. We'll have that when the High School Sports Beat continues.
And now to Eichel. He floated one. Score!
Welcome back and thanks for joining us on the High School Sports Feed. I'm Dave Yates. We flash back now to January 2014 for an important girls basketball matchup. Here's Bill Paco.
Last year at States, these two girls basketball teams found themselves rooting for each other. Last week, they were playing against each other. They were at States together last year in different divisions. Kearney was a winner then. This year, as defending Class B champs, they were 7-2, with both losses coming outside the section.
We're getting closer to where we want to be, but we really just want to be firing on all cylinders in February.
This is a good measure, don't you think, against Gates?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Gates lost a few players from last year's team. That was great. They were incredible. We did a lot of cheering for them in the state tournament, but Cierra Dillard is like having 3 good players. She's a handful.
As true as that is, Gates Chili was stripped of another All-Greater Rochester player by Section 5 when it ruled that Deonna Johnson had exhausted her eligibility for having played a half dozen games at Aquinas as an 8th grader and then repeating the grade after transferring. It was a cruel blow for both player and team.
You've got to move on from these things. You can't dwell on them. She's got a full ride. You know, there's a lot of positive things going on for her. So she's great. She's at every practice. She's there cheering us on. We've moved on. You have to move on.
Deonna still earned a scholarship at Davidson for next year and is now serving as the team manager for the Spartans this season.
You know, I'm here to do whatever they need me to do and have fun doing it.
You had a tough year. I mean, having your senior season taken away, that's awfully rough.
Yeah, it's been tough, but I mean, I've got the coaches, my family, and the girls, so, you know, they've been helping me get through it.
Without Johnson, Gates Chili is diminished and got behind Kearney early. The Kings came out red hot, none better than sophomore Rosa Graham. A steal and an end-to-end drive produced the first bucket. Graham then nailed a three-pointer. Assisted on a three-pointer by Emanuela Udoka. And then off a lead pass from Sheila Hawks, drained along two. Rosa had 7 points in that first quarter, and Kearney a 20-8 lead.
But how important is it against a good team to get a good start like that on your home court?
Really important. I mean, we come out, our coach tells us we're down by 20. As soon as we come out, we're down by 20. So we play as if we're down by 20. We count it down 18, down 15, all that.
In the second quarter, Cierra Dillard, who was blanked in the first quarter, caught fire for Gates, assisting on a three-pointer by fellow senior Samantha Heiler. And scoring her first 6 points of the contest, including a three-pointer.
I took a couple of shots and weren't falling. Luckily, my teammates stepped up to the plate and they started hitting shots, so I started finding them. As soon as the defense readjusted, started going out on the shooters, I found my range and I found my drive in the second quarter, which transferred over to the second half.
Dillard, with the look-away pass to Jessica Oshel, brought Gates back to within 8 by intermission.
Girls, we are right there. We are so close to turning the corner. All right? The minute you turn that corner, they're going to start to panic. I'm telling you, there's already some panic. They're like, oh my God, they're catching up. They're already freaking out. And if they stop hitting what they're hitting, because they're shooting probably about 60-70% from the threes right now, we'll be okay. Offensively, we are doing okay with ball movement. However, sometimes we're hiding a little bit too much. I don't like these big rainbow passes.
Is this going to drop down?
Yes. Okay. Does everybody understand that? All right, girls, let's go out and get shots.
But Kearney came out and scored the first 7 points of the second half. Hawks hit a three-pointer to get things going. And Graham got another basket. She wound up with a team-high 14. Hawks again, this time with the bullet pass to Udoka, the Kings opened up a 16-point lead. Down 45-31 after 3 quarters, Gates Chili still had a run left in it. Heiler nailed the three-pointer and got the Spartans to within 9 with 6:16 left in the game.
A big shot in the fourth quarter that brought the game down to 9 points. At that point, you're thinking, man, we could still pull this out, maybe?
Yeah, well, I thought throughout the whole game we could pull it out, you know. It was a good game, and I'm proud of how the team played.
Dillard with a steal broke clear along with Adriana Rutledge and cut the Kearney lead to just 5 with 2 minutes left.
When I got that steal, we were, scrambling. I knew she was either going to try to set a charge on me or come up and guard me. So Adriana had her hands ready. She caught the ball. She finished.
But they got no closer as Kearney closed out the contest from the free throw line.
When we got the lead, I think we relaxed and started taking our time, and they came back from that. And the game got close, but we came back in the huddle, talked to each other, and we said we got this.
53-48 was the final. Bishop Kearney with a significant victory in a battle of defending sectional champions.
We'd like to thank the athletes, teams, and coaches in Section 5. And if you've got a story you'd like to share with us, let us know. Send an email to rocksportsnow@gmail.com. Thanks for watching. Be safe, and we'll see you next week for more of the High School Sports Beat.